The startup slide was from an event where I spoke at the US Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. some time back on the topic of developing a competitive advantage in the global marketplace. Seemed like a nice fit for this session's topic on managing research projects across borders, all the different aspects of the ecosystems and the players in it. Similar to customers around the world having different views, needs, and wants, so do companies and their managers have different worldviews. When we start talking about managing research across borders, it is not as easy as to say that data will tell us the story and our decision making will follow. We discussed that to some degree in the last session, which included topics on data analysis and interpretation and so on. Managing international marketing research is both, frankly, an art and a science beyond designing and implementing the IMR in the first place. Let's use an example. Imagine a classroom where each student brings a different globe. Each globe represents the same Earth but with unique markings. Different countries emphasized varied cultural symbols, diverse histories told. This illustrates one Earth, infinite worldviews. Our planet is singular, yet the perspectives we hold are countless, shaped by our distinct experiences and cultures. Capturing these similarities and differences need to be done in project management also, not just as customers being targeted. So, welcome to today's session, or this asynchronous session, whenever you take it in, and if you sit through it in one sitting or multiples. It's on managing research projects across borders in international marketing research. Imagine orchestrating a symphony with instruments from every corner of the globe, each one adding a unique melody. That's the challenge and, frankly, excitement of managing international research projects. In this session, we'll delve into the strategies for coordinating diverse teams, navigating cultural differences, and ensuring seamless communication across time zones. Some of those topics come and go in other sessions as well, but we'll take a little bit of a deeper look at some of them in this session also. We'll explore how to overcome perhaps logistical hurdles and turn potential obstacles into opportunities for innovation in terms of what we do. Successful international project management requires a deep understanding of cultural diversity. Recognizing and respecting cultural differences in communication styles, work ethics, and decision-making processes is crucial for team cohesion and project success. Clear and consistent communication is vital in international projects. Utilizing multiple channels and ensuring language proficiency can help overcome barriers and keep all stakeholders informed and engaged. I still find it interesting to see what you may think of my Swedish accent in the background of these asynchronous sessions, which is a little bit more plastic than the brick and mortar sessions when we're face to face talking about these topics. But nevertheless, Swedish accent aside, let's move on. Managing projects across different time zones requires careful planning and coordination. Obviously, scheduling meetings and setting deadlines that consider all team members' time zones can enhance productivity and collaboration. Perhaps multiple time slots for the different meetings so they don't all fall in the same time slot, same day, and that becomes a problem for some parts of the world and more than others. International projects must comply with diverse legal and regulatory frameworks, as we've discussed in a few different instances. So understanding local laws, regulations, and standards is essential to avoid legal pitfalls and ensure project compliance. And then lastly, identifying and mitigating risks specific to international projects such as political instability, potential currency fluctuations, and supply chain disruptions. They're all crucial for project success. It can be a lot of work, thinking, planning, practicing, experimenting, training, and more that goes into creating a simple experience. International project management is embedded in a larger ecosystem of international actors, activity links, and resource ties. So this single panel comic talks a little bit about that. And the punchline, of course, is what I've read off. There can be a lot of work, thinking, planning, practice, experimenting, training, and more that goes into creating a simple experience. We're trying to be simple about it. Easy to do, hard not to do. I keep using that slogan a little bit that I portrayed and talked about in an earlier session as well. To manage these international actors, activity links, and resource ties that I keep mentioning within the ecosystem, we can use a variety of methodologies. Key project management methodologies applicable to international research include, for example, Agile, Waterfall, Scrum, Hybrid, and Lean. And let's talk about each of those shortly in succinct terms. Agile emphasizes iterative development, flexibility, and continuous feedback. It is ideal for projects requiring adaptability to changing requirements and close collaboration with stakeholders. For example, Spotify uses Agile to manage its global software development teams, allowing for rapid iterations and continuous improvements in response to user feedback. Waterfall, on the other hand, is a linear sequential approach where each phase must be completed before the next begins. You may have seen some of those that look like stairs or something like that. It is suitable for projects with well-defined requirements and fixed timelines. Boeing employs waterfall methodology for large-scale aerospace projects, ensuring thorough planning and structured execution, critical for compliance and safety standards in their particular case. Scrum is also an agile framework that focuses on small cross-functional teams working in sprints to deliver incremental project improvements. It promotes accountability, teamwork, and iterative progress. IBM uses Scrum for its international software development projects, enabling efficient collaboration across global teams and timely delivery of project increments. Hybrid is another approach that combines elements of Agile and Waterfall to leverage the benefits of both. It's used in projects that require flexibility in some phases and structured planning in others. General Electric, or GE, employs a hybrid methodology in its international product development projects, combining Agile's adaptability with Waterfall's rigorous planning stages. And then finally, Lean focuses on maximizing value by eliminating waste and improving processes. It is effective for enhancing efficiency and reducing cost in project management. Toyota is an example, and their lean manufacturing principles have been applied globally to streamline production processes, reduce waste, and improve product quality in its international factories. And I'm not buying into or selling any of these 5 per se, but these are 5 that come to mind when we talk about project management techniques, and they do fit into the ecosystem of doing things around the world, but also the toolkit that we're building in international marketing research in this particular course. Like project management, coordinating multinational teams is not an easy task. Strategies for effectively doing this include flexible scheduling, collaboration tools, clear communication protocols, cultural awareness again, and regional coordinators perhaps. Using flexible scheduling to accommodate different time zones, ensuring that meetings and deadlines consider the working hours of all team members would be a good start, obviously. Rotating meeting times, like I said, can help distribute inconvenience, perhaps equitably, at least better than having the same time slot, same day every week type stuff. Microsoft schedules global team meetings at alternating times to ensure all members from the US to Asia and beyond can participate without consistently working outside their standard hours. And then employ a robust collaboration tools such as Slack, Microsoft Teams, Asana, to facilitate real-time communication, project management, and document sharing. As another example, these tools help maintain coordination and streamline workflows across geographically dispersed teams. Google Drive and Slack obviously are extensively used by remote teams, in particular at IBM as an example, to share updates, manage tasks, and collaborate on documents seamlessly across different time zones. And then define clear communication protocols, including preferred communication channels, response times, and meeting structures. Regular updates and transparent communication help avoid misunderstandings and keep everyone aligned in some way. My communication with these these asynchronous sessions has a link to your understanding of the material and perhaps the quiz scores. I hope I'm providing the material in a pretty straightforward manner, but nevertheless, there's communication involved there. A better example, perhaps more real-life example, would be Deloitte's international teams, which follow structured communication protocols that include regular check-ins and detailed meeting agendas to ensure clarity and alignment on project goals. Foster cultural awareness and sensitivity through training and team building activities. That's come through in a few different topic areas and sessions already. So understanding cultural differences enhances collaboration and reduces the potential for conflicts. Siemens, as an example, conducts cultural sensitivity training for its multinational project teams, ensuring that members appreciate and respect diverse cultural perspectives and working styles. And then lastly, we haven't brought this one into the mix before, but perhaps appoint regional coordinators or liaisons to facilitate communication and coordination within specific time zones or regions. These coordinators can bridge gaps and ensure smooth project execution across different locations. At Unilever, as an example, regional project managers oversee operations in different continents, ensuring that local teams stay connected with the global project goals and timelines. If we drill a bit deeper into communication, into the communication portion of the story that I'm building for this session and others, frankly, and the things that I just mentioned, there are some techniques for enhancing communication and collaboration among team members from diverse cultural backgrounds. Companies can provide cultural sensitivity training, of course, to help team members understand and appreciate cultural differences, enhancing mutual respect and collaboration. This training can reduce, we hope, misunderstandings, but also foster a more inclusive work environment, perhaps. Google implements cultural sensitivity workshops for its global teams, promoting awareness of different cultural norms, values, beliefs, norms, artifacts, against. So not just norms, but values and beliefs come into play. They're hard to understand, but norms are a little easier perhaps to understand. But all of that improves cross-cultural communication, at least have an understanding and structure for it. Utilize common collaboration platforms, perhaps again like Microsoft Teams, Slack, Zoom, so on, to facilitate seamless communication and teamwork. These tools support real-time collaboration and help bridge geographical and perhaps cultural gaps. At least that's our hope. At Siemens, as an example, global teams use Microsoft Teams to collaborate on projects, ensuring that communication remains consistent and accessible to all members, regardless of location. And I keep saying Microsoft Teams or Zoom or others. As you probably noticed in your work line of work, all of these are becoming pretty standardized. So if you can use one, you can use one. Teams is not that different from Zoom and so on, at least to me. Organize regular team building activities that include cross-cultural elements to strengthen relationships and improve understanding among team members from different backgrounds, different cultural and other backgrounds. These activities can build trust and camaraderie as well. Unilever, for example, conducts virtual team building exercises that include cultural sharing sessions where team members from different regions of the world share their cultural traditions and practices, which is kind of fascinating. It's kind of like locally, we oftentimes everybody bring food from their home country type stuff, and it becomes a little bit of a tidbit get together. Develop clear communication guidelines that specify expectations for communication styles, response times, and conflict resolution methods. Clear guidelines help manage diverse communication preferences and ensure, in most cases, smooth interactions. At Deloitte, international project teams adhere to structured communication protocols that include detailed meeting agendas and establish norms for email and chat communication. And then finally, promote an environment where team members feel comfortable sharing their ideas and provide feedback. Open dialogue obviously encourages diverse perspectives and enhances collaborative problem solving, makes everybody feel included and better, perhaps. IBM fosters an open feedback culture through regular virtual town hall meetings where employees from different regions can voice their opinions and contribute to discussion on project process, for example. And you notice I keep saying virtual and online and so forth a lot, even for cultural team building activities, and that's a little bit of a newness, maybe post-COVID kind of things that has become, frankly, more commonplace. Well, communication takes many forms. This single panel comic tells an important story. When it comes to taking care of the customers, everyone needs to act like an owner. It's not an easy one to do or easy to delegate or allow to be done, but this is one of the relatively universal truths across cultures that should be up for grabs for most companies because it signals to customers there's buy-in, but also accountability that goes on. You're a janitor. Why are you smiling, waving to all the customers? When the owner hired me, she said to treat every customer like I own the building, so I do. I act like the owner. So when it comes to taking care of the customers, again, as a punchline, everyone needs to act like an owner. I oftentimes don't read all the text on these single panel comics from Chef Hyken's team. But sometimes like this one, it fits because it's short, succinct, and it tells a story very directly. Owners and investors are generally the most interested in budgets that relate to the company's activities, including in international marketing research. Managers and people in the trenches typically want enough resources to get the job done and done well and feel good about it perhaps as well. Nevertheless, we need to operate within a budget in international marketing research. The important aspect of this is how to plan and manage budgets for projects with expenditures across multiple currencies and economic environments. Use advanced budgeting tools and software that support multi-country currency management. Allowing for real-time currency conversion and consolidated financial reporting would be a start. This ensures accurate budget tracking and financial planning across different currencies if we are using different currencies for whatever purpose we're doing IMR. SAP Concur is used by multinational corporations, as you probably know, maybe yours as well. Like Siemens, they do that to manage travel and expense budgets in multiple currencies, providing seamless financial oversight. Employ hedging strategies to mitigate the risk of currency fluctuations if needed, affecting project costs. Techniques such as forward contracts, options, and swaps help stabilize budgets, forecast, and protect against adverse exchange rate movements. General Electric, for example, uses currency hedging to protect its international project budgets from volatile exchange rates, ensuring, frankly, financial stability, but more importantly, perhaps predictability. Conduct regular financial reviews to monitor budget performance and make necessary adjustments. Kind of the commonplace things for doing business in a company anyway, but international marketing research is no different. This involves tracking expenditures, comparing actual numbers, of course, against forecasts, and revising budgets in response to economic changes or currency volatility. Procter & Gamble, as an example on this one, holds quarterly financial reviews for its global projects, adjusting budgets to account for changes in currency exchange rates and economic conditions in different markets. Then we get to time management. Is another one of those elusive areas, frankly. Hard workers work hard, we hope. Well, they take the time needed, often at the cost of other more leisurely activities that they can do. And it may not be by working hard, it may be by working long hours, it may be about a lot of different things, but time management challenges do persist. There are important time management challenges in international marketing research that need to be handled that deal with addressing the challenges of scheduling and time management in projects that span different time zones. And some of the guidelines include the ones that I have here, and I put a little bit more text on this one, which I typically don't do, but nevertheless, employ time zone management tools and applications to coordinate meetings and deadlines across different regions. Tools like World Time Buddy and Google Calendar help teams identify overlapping working hours and schedules effectively. Salesforce uses tools like the Time Zone Converter and Google Calendar to manage project timelines and schedule global meetings efficiently, ensuring all team members are accommodated most of the time. Adopt flexible work hours, if at all possible, to accommodate team members in different time zones. Allowing flexible start and end times can improve collaboration and productivity by ensuring overlap and at least some working hours. Microsoft offers flexible working arrangements for its international teams, allowing employees to choose their hours to better align with global project schedules and meetings. And more companies are getting to that point, and kind of got kick-started a little bit with COVID, and many more companies than the pre-COVID are certainly more flexible in hours and working from home and working maybe not regular office hours even from home, just to accommodate some of the things that I just mentioned. Set clear communication protocols that define response times, preferred communication channels, and regular check-ins. This helps manage expectations and ensures timely updates across all time zones. As an example, at Accenture, global project teams follow standard communication protocols that include daily stand-ups and weekly status reports to maintain synchronization and manage time zone differences effectively. It's pretty straightforward to capture and understand most of the logistical challenges in international marketing research, but incredibly complex to actually implement them. So we can talk about them, implementing them perhaps slightly more complex idea and effort have to be included. These three topics of navigating travel and mobility challenges, managing shipping and handling research materials, and complying with local regulations and standards include a bulk what I think should be attended to in this particular case as it relates to international marketing research. Interestingly, perhaps differently, I also included cover our book on global supply chain management. If you haven't taken a look at it, it's a business book for managers, not a textbook, but we used it in global supply chain management, our course at Michigan State University, in the MS, the Masters of Science program in supply chain management. I included it again in the optional readings on D2L as a free PDF download. Take a look if you're interested. In fact, there are exercises to go with these books too. Total Global Strategy is another one that I've included a PDF of. There are 10 exercises for each, non-graded, voluntary, but checking your knowledge type exercises. So take a look if you're interested. Now, since it's not a hard sales pitch, since I'm giving it away for free, nevertheless, let's move off the topic of global supply chain as a book, and let's discuss the three topics that I have on the slide briefly. Coordinating travel logistics for international research involves managing visas, perhaps, travel restrictions, transportation management, obviously. Planning and staying informed about local travel regulations is also crucial. So, for example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, research teams from the World Health Organization, WHO, had to navigate changing travel restrictions and quarantine requirements to conduct field work in affected countries. But we have these type of things affecting us all the time. Hopefully not as big and complex as COVID-19 turned out to be at the time. Shipping research materials internationally requires careful planning to comply with customs regulations, ensure timely delivery, and prevent damage. Working with reliable logistics partners is essential. Pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, for example, coordinate the global shipment of clinical trial materials, adhering to stringent packaging and shipping protocols to maintain the integrity of medical samples. And then international research must comply with local laws and regulations. Come back to that a lot, frankly. It's a nuisance and annoying perhaps, but there are lots of different differences out there is the best way to phrase it. And that includes data protection, ethical standards, and research permits that need to be handled. Understanding and adhering to these requirements is critical for successful project execution. In conducting environmental research in Brazil, as one example on this one, researchers must navigate local regulations related to environmental protection and obtain the necessary permits from Brazilian authorities. And I was going to stop there because that was the clean example, but frankly, I put on a conference for 1,000 people in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro a few years ago, and we still haven't found a pallet of our stuff that we sent down there because we probably didn't grease the wheel as well as we should have. Nevertheless, we never got our pallet of lots of materials. So even in the best circumstances where we think we have the knowledge, and our team certainly did, we have to come up with alternative planning for it. So you got a couple of Brazilian examples. I had the first one for memorabilia for me, and the second one perhaps a little bit out of context. Logistical considerations are everywhere in our daily lives, and planning for the future, not just in international marketing research project management, they do happen, exist, they present barriers or they present ways to get things done. Born globals, as we call them, and I'll let Thomas on the screen talk about born globals and what they are a little bit more, but the punchline is that born globals solve these logistical issues very early on in their existence. Let's listen in on what I have in this particular story.
What do Skype and Uber have in common? Both of these companies are born global, which are enterprises that went global within 2 years of their inception and have a major focus on foreign markets instead of their own home country markets. The phenomenon of companies born to be global has been growing rapidly in the last decade. More and more people want to become their own entrepreneurs. And couple this with the environment we now live in, and born globals are increasingly more prominent in the world. Some of the infrastructure reasons are obvious: access and affordability of high-speed technology, the democratization of innovation. For example, Priceline required $3 million in technology in 1997 when they started, but could today be launched with less than $1,000. Lower cost of travel and communication and transportation, ever-lowering barriers on trade, and the continuous migration of talent globally are all mushrooming the idea that everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. And why not go global right away?
At this stage, I think it's important to highlight some big time successful worldwide projects. These are less for profit projects than they're big time projects that would symbolize the coordination and everything else that need to go on in these international projects. The Human Genome Project, hard for me to say, it's a Swedish guy, I guess, involved scientists from some 20 institutions across the world successfully mapping the entire human genome. Collaborative planning, standardized protocols, and effective use of technology facilitated this large-scale international effort, coordinated by the National Institutes of Health, NIH in the United States, and the Wellcome Trust in the United Kingdom. Project exemplified successful international research collaboration. CERN, everybody knows about a little bit, especially at Michigan State University, since we are a major competitor to it now, thankfully. But CERN's Large Hadron Collider is a collaborative project involving over 10,000 scientists and engineers from more than 100 countries. The project has achieved significant scientific breakthroughs through effective international coordination and shared research infrastructure. And like I said, MSU's FRIB, the Facility for Rare Isotope Beams, is a major CERN competitor now as we are building and more and getting everything up online and running there as well. The discovery, for example, go back to CERN, of the Higgs boson particle in 2012 was a milestone achieved through global teamwork at CERN's facilities in Switzerland, and like science is being done at MSU now to make similar advancements in that science. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative, led by the World Health Organization, involves governments, health organizations, and volunteers from around the world. Rigorous planning, coordination, and data sharing have significantly reduced polio, of course, cases globally, and that's a great thing. But successful polio vaccination campaigns in India, as one example, which led to the country being declared polio-free in 2014, highlight as just one example of getting rid of polio worldwide, highlight the effective planning and coordination and project management under that particular project. The International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor is an international nuclear fusion research project involving about 35 countries. Effective project management, shared funding, and collaborative research efforts aim to create sustainable fusion energy. This one is located in France. Their successful coordination among partner countries, including the European Union in general, more broadly than France, United States, China, India, Japan, Russia, South Korea, for example, demonstrates large-scale international research collaboration. And then the Millennium Villages project aimed to demonstrate that integrated development strategies could achieve the Millennium Development Goals. We're talking about Sustainable Development Goals now, but Millennium Development Goals are there as well. The project involved multiple countries in Africa and was managed by the Earth Institute at Columbia University and United Nations agencies, different agencies. The project's success in significantly improving health, education, and economic outcomes in targeted African villages highlights effective international project management. And then finally, for this at least example slide, European Space Agency. The Rosetta mission involved collaboration between multiple countries to land a probe on a comet. This ambitious project required precise coordination, cutting-edge technology, and international teamwork. In 2014, the successful landing of the Philae probe on a comet, which I have a difficult time saying the name of, obviously, was a historic achievement made possible by the collaborative efforts of scientists and engineers from the member countries. Now, summarizing best practices for effectively managing international marketing research projects is important and difficult. I'm going to do this very much more succinctly than other summaries that I've done for other sessions, but let's try. Understanding and respecting cultural differences is crucial. Tailor communication styles, research methods, and marketing strategies fit the local cultures and preferences. That's the first one. Utilize project management and collaboration tools to enhance coordination, communication among international teams. These tools help manage tasks, share documents if needed, and maintain real-time communication. And then implement standard data collection and analysis protocols to ensure consistent and consistency and comparability across different markets. This approach enhances data quality and reliability. And then conduct regular reviews of project progress and outcomes. Be prepared to adjust strategies based on new insights, market changes, and feedback from local teams. And build strong partnerships with local stakeholders, including researchers, agencies, and suppliers. Those things can provide valuable market insights, and those entities can provide valuable marketing insights and facilitate a smoother project execution. Now we're getting to the article again, and this one's a little bit different. CEOs can potentially serve as important customer service reps in complementary roles to frontline customer service, sales, and other customer experience management personnel. But do the potential benefits of the CEO as a customer service rep outweigh the potential drawbacks? Those are some of the topics in the HBR article that I assigned for this session, and that I was actually commissioned in some way to write for the Harvard Business Review because they reached out to me strangely over LinkedIn and checked in with me and figured out that I could be a good one to write on this particular topic. But they needed, I guess, this particular article because more and more CEOs are dabbling in getting to be part of the customer service rep part of the company, and usually that's pretty far beyond where the CEO is normally spending their time. Nevertheless, we are also in an assignment kind of scenario. So the assignment is to write the normal roughly 500-word essay and integrate 2 to 3 key insights from the session that we just had on managing research projects across borders, as well as the HBR article then that is titled, that you see on the screen, When CEOs Engage Directly with Customers. Focus on the parts of the HBR article that you find the most valuable, as usual with all articles. Discuss how international marketing research and international project management techniques can enhance the role of CEOs in customer service, weighing the potential benefits and drawbacks. And the article has a number of benefits and a number of drawbacks. And then integrate and build in some real life examples and a cohesive analysis, as I always keep stating. Well, one more session to go. I will start the outro music right now. Have fun with the assignment and see you one more time in this asynchronous format. As always, let me know if I can be helpful with anything during and after the class. Thanks, everyone.